Good evening. Welcome to another episode of OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. Tonight I'll be reading from the book Connecticut Ghost Stories and Legends by Thomas D'Agostino and Arlene Nicholson, part of the Haunted America series. Tonight's story, Bara, the village that echoes the past. Ready? Alright, good. Make sure you've got your blankets so you can hide your face under them. This is supposed to be a scary one. When Odell Shepard visited what he called the Village of Voices in 1927, the settlement of Bara had lain abandoned for fewer than 40 years. Yet the woods had reclaimed their majesty among the foundations and ruins with breathtaking alacrity. Just having referred to the area as the Village of Voices denotes it had already established a reputation for supernatural happenings. The saga of Bara, which was reported to be Welsh for breaking of bread, usually starts with the Higginbotham Randall clans, but they actually were not the first landowners of the area. Jonathan Randall, a Rhode Island native active in that state's politics at the time, purchased 220 acres from Alexander Sessions on November 13, 1776. Born on March 20th, 1706, Randall died in Pomfret in 1791 at the age of 86. He is buried in Providence, Rhode Island due to the fact that he was a judge in the Ocean State Supreme Court from 1749 to 1761. Obadiah Higginbotham purchased land from John Trowbridge, son of Daniel Trowbridge, in 1778. Daniel Trowbridge had purchased the land from Abel Lyon in 1731. Daniel had 11 children and married twice. When you think about it, the voices of Bara would have been speaking through the trees long before the Higginbothams or the Randalls settled there. The 1774 Rhode Island State Census lists Obadiah as married with one white male under 16 years of age in his household. Robadiah, daughter of Obadiah, was born in Rhode Island as well. Obadiah is later mentioned in the 1800 census along with his wife, Dorcas, and 5 children. In the record's research, Obadiah and the name Higginbotham are spelled in various different ways, such as Obadiah with an E and Higginbotham, missing one G. Obadiah removed from Cranston with his newly formed family to the woods of Pomfret sometime around 1780. Obadiah then purchased land abutting the Randall property and what we now know as Bara came to be. 8 children were born to Obadiah and his wife. Records indicate that Obadiah was a deserter of the British Army. Desertion was common back then, as the British soldiers, facing aggravation from the townsfolk, would often let down their weapons to befriend the locals and even date the women. The locals would give them food, liquor, cigars, and the like. Obadiah started a small factory along the banks of the Nightingale Brook called Higginbotham Linen Wheels, which produced spinning wheels. He died in 1803 at only 53 years old, leaving his wife to take care of the property and factory. She sold some of the land to pay debts. The factory ran until 1853. Dorcas died on July 1st, 1849 at the age of 100. She was buried in the small cemetery that holds members of both the Randall and Higginbotham families. The small fieldstone marker sitting next to her grave is very likely that of Obadiah's, as they were not wealthy when he died and probably never got an opportunity to procure a proper stone for his gravesite. The last interment to the graveyard was Patty Randall, who died on March 30th, 1893 at 84 years, 6 months. The elder Mrs. Patty Randall died in 1809 while giving birth to daughter Patty. In the book, The Lost Village of the Higginbothams, author and owner of the land Doris B. Townshend states that she could not find any Welsh translation for the term Barahak. It does appear in Odell Shepard's book, The Harvest of a Quiet Eye. He describes the village as such. Here had been their houses, represented today by a few gaping cellar holes out of which tall trees were growing. But here is the village of voices. For the place is peopled still, although there is no habitation. Yet there is always a hum and stir of human life. They hear the laughter of children at play. They hear the voices of mothers who have long been dust, calling their children into the homes that are mere holes in the earth. They hear the snatches of song and the rumble of wagon wheels along the old road. It is as though sounds were able in this place to get round that incomprehensible corner to pierce that mysterious soundproof wall that we call time. In the 1950 book Folklore and Firesides in Pomfret, Hampton and Vicinity, author Susan Griggs speaks about the Higginbotham family and subsequent mill as she refers to the area as the Lost Village in the Hills. Yet she never mentions the term Barahak. She does refer to the burying ground as being called God's Acre of the Hills by the descendants of the Higginbotham family. Legends of the Village of Voices reach as far back as the 18th century, when the two families thrived there. It was recorded that the Randall family servants spied strange gremlin-like creatures the size of small children reclining among the boughs of the great elm that stood on the north face of the graveyard. The elm has since succumbed to age and the ravages of nature, but the trunk still towers over the cemetery wall as an interminable monument to the preternatural. In 1971, student and paranormal researcher Paul Eno investigated Barahak with a small group of colleagues. They not only heard the voices echoing through the trees, but also heard the lowing of cattle about them as if livestock once again tenanted the overgrown fields. At one point, they witnessed a bearded face hovering over the cemetery wall for several minutes before vanishing. At dusk, orbs and blue streaks of light began to flicker about the graveyard. Arlene and I have since become friends with Paul and his son Ben. We seem to share a common bond with our experiences at Barahak. Our many visits to the Lost Village with the permission of Mrs. Townshend prove that Barahak still holds the spirits of those who once wandered its fields in life. During one visit while studying the names and dates within the cemetery, the sound of horses' hooves and wagon wheels crunching the gravel trail could suddenly be heard in the distance. At first, I thought it was a wagon from the 4-H club passing through. As the sound grew near, we ventured over to the old road. The sound grew louder until it was upon us, moved past and faded down the trail. The whole scene transacted in front of us, yet there was no visible entity whatsoever to create the ghostly din. At that point, we knew we had just experienced the permanent residence of Barahak. On another trip through the Lost Village, Arlene decided to take photographs, as the October morning was sunny and mild. We entered the village on the usual path. As we neared the first foundation, we both felt like the woods were actually alive. All around us it felt as if there were invisible eyes piercing the woods, glaring at our every move. By the time we got to the cemetery, Arlene and I sensed a great anxiety and need to leave the area. It was the first time in countless investigations we had become completely enveloped by such an eerie sensation. We have heard the voices of the children laughing and the clamor of conversation permeating the air on a few occasions. The latest was several months prior to this writing. On 3 previous visits before, the ghostly village had seemed peaceful and inviting. In fact, it made for a storybook setting as the sun beamed through the trees and the birds chirped merrily from above. It was hard to believe that this was a place where time has a tendency to warp, causing the past to join the present. The voices seemed to start softly, slowly growing in volume until it was unmistakable that there were children scurrying amid the woods, within sight but not visible. The most recent experience was somewhat similar. Arlene and I visited the settlement with fellow investigators Rich and Allie, and Allie's mother Debbie. We ventured out to the burial yard and held vigil there for several minutes. Then it happened. The voices slowly began to filter in with the breeze, and before long it was a faint symphony of laughter, conversation, and shouts that seemed to enter our ears from all around us. The sounds were not loud, but they were there, and we were able to catch them, though faintly, on the recorder. In my research, as stated before, there were other previous owners of the land. Most people seem to think that the haunts began after the area became abandoned by human habitation, but the Randall servants saw creatures in the trees. What other occurrences transpired that were not formally penned for later perusal, and how many previous families also experienced the paranormal phenomena of Bara. Perhaps it is the members of the Trowbridge family that still speak, or a mixture of all the families that resided within the area, as Odell Shepard stated, breaking through the barrier of time. No one is sure of the identities behind the voices, as there were many children from the Trowbridge and Higginbotham families that resided within the realm of the haunted hamlet. The remains of the bridge and dam are just below the Higginbotham foundation. The Randall home was demolished and a new one built by George Randall took its place. Obadiah Higginbotham eventually owned the parcel of the land that abutted the Randalls' property, including the cemetery. There were several remains of buildings and lots of stone fences to remind those who ventured through the settlement that human life once thrived there. Then there are the voices. The voices. Yes, there are many voices which can be heard in the woods of Barahack. It's crazy. I went there myself, obviously, because I'm going to tell you about my experience there. It was a strange one. Scary. Terrifying. But not at first. You know, in the beginning, it was just like listening to ghosts have a conversation in the distance. And it would get closer. Then it would fade away and you would hear kids running around and playing. It sounded like a merry old time. Like just normal everyday life, but you couldn't see what was happening. Now I remembered them saying something about not knowing which ghosts were the ones that were actually haunting the land. Was it the Higginbothams? Was it the Randalls? Was it those before the Higginbothams and Randalls? Who exactly was it? And what were the creatures in the trees that were spoken of? Now, for this investigation, I decided I'd bring my friend Jane. Well, I won't necessarily call her a friend, but, you know, we did have that experience together that kind of bonded us for the rest of life. Every now and then I'll call her up and say, "Hey Jane, how you doing? You still smell that shit from the ghost?" And she's like, just a little bit. And I said, "Well, listen, if you're not doing anything, why don't you come with me to Barahack? Let's go check out this interesting ghost town." She's like, "We're not bringing Jim, are we?" Like, "Fuck no, we're not bringing Jim. Why? So you can eat burritos and shit before going on a fucking investigation and end up taking another shit on a ghost? I think not. We'll do the safe thing and just be me and you." And, well, my friend Rosamul, well, it's not really my friend. He's just a demon I keep in a jar. "You keep a demon in a jar?" "I keep a demon in a jar." "Why do you keep a demon in a jar?" "Well, he tried to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Bring me to Satan because, you know, I went to the Devil's Hop Yard. And, I went to the Devil's Hop Yard. It was interesting. Yeah, it wasn't so interesting for me. It was actually kind of crazy. The devil tried to fucking snatch me up and leave a doppelganger in my place. But I thwarted his chance. And so I've been kind of like dealing with him sending demons after me. And Rosamul just so happened to be at the last place, Nineveh Falls, that I had, you know, investigated and shit. And he tried to take me back to Satan. So I trapped him in a jar. And every now and then I bring him with me to, you know, go and do stuff and things like that. Mostly it's just for my entertainment. But a lot of times he ends up saying some really fucked up shit to the ghost because for some reason he seems to have been the cause of a lot of the shit that we're dealing with. Oh, that's interesting. I'd like to meet this Rasamul. Oh, you'll meet him. You'll meet him. Trust me, you will. So, you know what I said? Got together, got Rasamul, said, listen, Rasamul, check this out. Me, you, and my companion Jane, we're going to check out this place called Bara. Bara. Do you know it? Of course I do. God, I had a lot of fun in Bara. Do I even dare ask what you've done there? You don't want to ask, but you'll find out. Already, I'm thinking about potentially calling this whole investigation off because fucking Rasamul. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so me, Jane, Rasamul were there. We're listening to the voices, yada yada, laughter, happiness, joy, but we don't see anything. Thinking about the beast in the trees or the creature in the trees. Then I realized something. It dawns on me, like getting smacked in the head with a bottle. Clink! I'm like, Rasamul, just a quick question. You didn't happen to, like, I don't know, run around in the trees out here by any chance, did you? Yeah, actually I did. Had a lot of fun in the trees. Kids be in the woods playing hide and go seek and shit. I'd be in the trees, snatch one of them up, eat them and shit, or hurt them. I did all types of crazy stuff. Family come in the woods, pitchforks and torches and things, be looking for the kid. I'd throw his lifeless body at them. Then I'd like jump out on the tree limbs, scare the fucking shit out of them. And then, you know, I do fucked up shit to their goddamn life. Make their crops fuck up, fuck with their livestock, kill settlers that were trying to come and settle in place. And I just did a whole bunch of really fucked up stuff. I mean, my name's Rasamul. I'm the demon of destruction. So it begs the reason that if I'd been there, there's a fucked up story behind it. There's a couple of guys here, you know, back in the day, and I made one of them go after the other guy's wife, even though he was happy with his wife. But I was like, there's too much happiness and joy here. Higginbotham, Randall, living together in harmony. I wanted to ruin it and have them going after each other like I had the Hatfields and McCoys going after each other there. You did that whole fucking family feud thing? Oh God, I'm the responsible party in most family feuds. I mean, think about it. What was the point of fighting with each other back in those days? There wasn't a lot of fucking shit to fight about. I mean, you live on the woods by yourselves. I used to just have fun because I get bored watching them just live in harmony and peace and shit, trading each other for stuff. So yeah, a lot of times I'd make one of them fuck the other guy's wife. And then, of course, you know that causes a feud in itself because, you know, the lady comes home, she's been rolling in the hay with the other guy. It's like, I can smell the smell of sexual intercourse upon you, woman, and it is not me or my stink. How dare you? How dare you? He'd beat her, throw her out, kids would be all upset, lost her mom, you know, she'd have a baby she's nursing. He'd keep the baby. Like, but the baby needs my milk, Johnny. Well, fuck you and fuck your milk, bitch. Get out! Get out! Many a problem I've caused. Many a problem. But yeah, back to the Randalls and the Higginbothams, right? Yeah, you know, the Randall wife, I sent over to the Higginbotham family. And the Higginbotham wife, I sent over to the Randall family. So, you know, they were fucking each other's wives, but then they got mad at each other for fucking each other's wives. Like, you have fucked my wife! You have fucked my wife! Oh! Oh! And then they'd be fighting each other. And I'm sitting here laughing to myself, because I'm like, how are you guys mad? You both tapped each other's wives. What's the big deal? You know, you tapped his, he tapped yours. You would think it just... No, but that pride's a motherfucker. Human pride is a motherfucker. So, of course, they both looked at this as like some kind of indisputable thing of disrespect amongst one another. Feud, kids that used to play together now go off in the woods, fight with each other, and they're not happy. Like, you are absolutely terrible. Yes, he is terrible. Gosh, Rasamul, who the fuck is this bitch? Oh yeah, you're Jane. I heard about you. Jane. Heard Zazel had a taste Yeah, made you choke the shit out of this fucking face fuck right here. Zazel told me about that shit before this fucking asshole killed him. Yeah, fucking bastard. I don't know why you don't just kill me. Why do I have to sit in this fucking jar? I'm getting kind of tired of sitting in this jar. But thank you for bringing me along, because once again, I'll be able to, you know, fuel up on some anguish, anger, and pain. Because trust me, I caused a lot of it here. I caused a lot of it here. Oh, God, did I cause a lot of it here. I closed this jar up because I was getting tired of listening to him brag about the fucked up shit he did. You know what I'm saying? I look over at Jane. I say, Jane, you know what? Let's just leave him in the car. So we bring Razamul and put him in the car, in the trunk. I don't want to hear him laughing or have him doing any fucked up shit anymore. Because, like I said, we want to investigate and see exactly what's going on. So we hold a little vigil and shit, light some candles, and chanting and talking and hey, ghost, what's going on with the ghost? Can you please speak to us? And so like one of them manifests in front of us, right? Starts talking to us, but no words, well, no sound was coming out of its mouth, but it was, you know, talking. His mouth was moving. So we're looking at it like, what the hell is he talking about? Right? So, you know, Jane says to the ghost, hey, we can't hear a word you're saying. Ghost, if you can hear us, speak louder so we can hear what you're saying because we can't hear. I'm like, hey, speak up! Shit! Let's go! Can't fucking hear what you're saying. And we want to hear what you're saying, but we can't hear what you're saying. So, you know, get the ghost nuts out your mouth and fucking talk. Shit. That must have pissed off somebody. Because all of a sudden, we could hear the sounds of many voices surrounding us. They would like say one thing and then the rest of them would repeat it. Sort of like in concert. Like, fuckish. You. Oh, you know, like, they were all, like, talking the same things, that, like I just told you. Anyway, right? So, they're angry now at this point. And I don't know if it was me saying that they had ghost nuts in their mouth that made them so angry. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. But whatever it was, they were angry. So, the ghost that made itself known by showing us its, you know, ghostly form started to float towards us. Closer and closer, right? You know. I grabbed my blessed oil just in case because, you know, we're in an area where Razamul has obviously done some fucked up shit, which means there could be some negative energy here, which could mean one of those little portals in time where the devil sends one of his demons. Even though I gave him those LED light strips and he's not supposed to be sending no demons after me, I don't trust that guy. I don't trust that guy at all. So, you know, I was prepared just in case some bullshit popped off. Anyway, the ghost floats up, gets close, stops, clears his throat. How dare you insult us in our place of rest? I saw what you had in the glass jar. He is responsible for the suffering of this village. He made goddamn Randall fucketh my wife repeatedly, and she enjoyed it. He made me fuck his wife, and she was fat. I did not enjoy that at all. I was quite angry, but for whatever strange reason I could not control myself, and now that I have seen this bastard here, I know now why. You will bring him to me. I will exact my vengeance upon him post-haste, immediately. That is a request I make. Actually, it is a demand. Demand, I say. Not a request. I request nothing. This is my land. You will do as I say, or face the dire consequences, which is the wrath of the Higginbotham clan. I'm looking at this dude like, whatever, man. I don't understand what it is with you ghosts threatening me. And then I thought about it for like 2 seconds. The last time a ghost threatened me, he took a ghost shit, right? I know ghost shits don't smell good. So I figured, what's the biggest thing that could go wrong with me bringing Rasamul here for this ghost to exact his vengeance upon thee? Right? So I'm like, all right, Higginbotham, I'll go get Rasamul, the demon, and I'll present him to you. But I must warn you, he's a powerful demon. He's a powerful demon. He takes joy and strength from your suffering and pain and anguish. So try to be happy and shit, tell yourself some jokes. Joke with your family and friends or something before, I hear all these voices out here. There must be a whole bunch of you. Yes, all of us are here. All of us. The Randalls and I are here. We've grown tired of being here. We want to pass on to the new beyond, where we belong. The sky with our Father the Maker. The only way we can do this is to seek closure in the things that transpired upon us many years in the past. Bring forth the demon Rasamul, please. Alright, calm down. So I went, got him out the trunk. I was like, you know what, dude? They want to talk to you. They want to talk to me. Oh shit, what do they want to say to me? What? Oh, wait a minute. Did you tell them they can kick me in my demon balls? I didn't tell them that they could do anything. They just said bring you here or face their wrath and shit. And the last time I remember a ghost getting mad at me, he took a ghost shit. And I'm not trying to smell any more ghost shit at all. Period. End of story. So I don't know what he plans on doing to you or what he can even do to you. But, fuck it. Why not? Let's go. I bring Rasamul and I put the jar down in front of the guy, right? He looks down at the jar. That is not the demon. I was like, it is. He takes many shapes. Hold on. Open up the jar. Rasamul pops out. He says, oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, you don't remember me, do you? How was that fat bitch? How was that? Is that worth your marriage? Huh? Is that worth your marriage? I mean, your wife, she was smoking hot. She was smoking hot. I had her laying down with that ugly bastard, Randall. While you were banging his porker wife. You know how many of your kids weren't really your kids? Oh, God. You were raising those little bastards like they were your bastards. And same thing with this guy. Half his kids weren't his kids. And then you fuckers intermarried and shit. This is such an incestuous mess. That's why half your family has got those fucked up eyes and shit. You thinking that you were fucking relatives that weren't your relatives. And they were your relatives. I confused the whole shit up out here. I'm looking at Rasamul like this is probably one of the worst demons I've ever met in my life. He's actually kind of like worse than Satan in a way. Actually, in more ways than one. But anyway, so, Rasamul takes the shape that they would recognize him as, which is the creature from the trees. And immediately, Mr. Higginbotham does this with his arms. And out of the ground rises, like, all of his family. His beautiful wife. And she was pretty good looking. The fat chick that he was, porking, she was hideous. Oh, God. Ugly woman. Just such a homely, ugly woman. That's not the point. The point is, all of these ghosts that had been touched by Rasamul's evil deeds came forth from the ground, right? They all looked at Rasamul. Rasamul's looking at them like, look at this. This just brings me so much joy to see that you saps of shit have been stuck here for all this time, just mad. Oh, I feel your anguish. I feel your pain. It's making me get a chubby. Shit, I'm loving this shit. Come on. Get mad. What are you gonna do, huh? What are you gonna do? Well, they all jumped on him. They started beating him up with like ghost pitchforks and ghost torches and shit. And he's just taking it because it can't do anything to him. And they obviously don't realize this, right? Except there's this one dude who's kind of like hanging in the back. And I notice him. He's a little bit different from everybody else. He's not really dressed like they're dressed. He's kind of dressed in like a cloak, robe type of thing. But it's made out of leather. Has a hood. He's got it thrown over his head. And I could hardly see his face. But he had a face. But I could hardly see his face. And he was more pale than the rest of the people. So, I'm eyeing this dude. I'm eyeing this guy. I'm like, Jane. Yeah? It's like, do you see the guy in the back? The one that's not beating his ass? She's like, yeah, I see him. It's like, that's a little bit weird, right? Like, why isn't he beating his ass? That's when I realized something. We were face to face with another demon. Shit. Goddamn. Another one. So I quickly try to put Rosamund back in the jar. Now, I don't know if demons work together, like, at the same time. I mean, I know they're all demons and shit, but I'm thinking since they're demons, they don't do stuff, like, in teams. I've never seen, like, a thing where you've got, like, 17 demons possessing one body. Is that even possible? That would probably be, like, really crazy. Could you imagine if there was, like, let's say I was possessed by a demon, right? Like, and then another demon, like, how would that even work? That'd be like being in an apartment building, or not even an apartment building, like in a one-room apartment and there's like 8 people living in it. It's gonna be crowded. It's gonna be a lot of fighting and arguing and shit. Like, hey, who drank all the goddamn milk? That's some goddamn Reese's Puff cereal here. I was trying to eat. I gotta eat it with fucking water? That's the kind of anger I would imagine would happen if, there was mad demons in one body. Anyway, so I wasn't sure if this demon was here to help Rosamund or, obviously he's probably there to fuck with me. That's what I'm thinking, right? So, of course, I'm already reaching for my blessed oil, my holy shotgun. Blow, blow, I'm ready to go. I hand Jane the crucifix of pain just in case. Crossbow, got her loaded up and ready. I was like, if that fucking thing makes one move, shoot it. Okay? Got out the book of spells and blessings and prayers and shit. And we're just keeping our eye on this thing. Just in case it turns out to be a demon. Which it did turn out to be a demon. His name? Zalami. Yeah, Zalami. I was thinking it was going to be something cool, but it wasn't anything cool. It was just plain old Zalami. So, this demon floats towards us, right? And what he does is strange. Because he didn't do what I would typically think a demon is supposed to do. Which is like evil, fucked up shit. It apologized to this group of people that were beating the fucking shit, or so they thought, out of Rosamund. And when Rosamund sees Zalami, he immediately jumps back in the jar, like with the quickness. Closes the top up, and he's like shaking in the jar. I'm like, okay, well that's weird. Never seen him do that before. Never seen him do that before at all. Hey, listen. Just put me back in the car. I don't want to have any parts of this guy. He's bad news. You don't want to have any parts of him either. Oh God, you don't. He's bad news. Well, anyway, Zalami's, apologizing to the rest of the people for what Rosamund has done to them and shit. They seem to accept this. They get closure. Next thing I know, I start seeing them turn into bright lights and float off into the sky. So I'm assuming they've been freed from their bonds on Earth, which is weird because usually only good can do this. But I was wrong. To Earth, they didn't go. He didn't go to Earth at all. I mean, heaven. Of course they didn't go to Earth. They left Earth, so they didn't go to Earth. They didn't go to heaven. They went straight to fucking hell. See, this damn Zalami, he's a collector. He's different than, Rosamund. Rosamund is not a collector. Rosamund is a destroyer. See, he's the one that Satan sends to bring suffering and destruction to the people. And then, once they've suffered and toiled for quite some time, Zalami comes and collects their souls, makes them think as if they're going to heaven by deceiving them, and then gets them willingly to commit the act of committing their souls to him in the guise of being a messenger of God. It's crazy. It's crazy, the tricks that these demons play. Now, Zalami floats close enough to Jane and I that we can feel his energy, which was a weird feeling energy. It felt like, you know how like when you come in to the house after you've been outside in the cold, really cold, bitter cold, and you walk into your warm house, how it feels welcoming and inviting, like come in, sit down, warm your bones. That's kind of how his energy felt. We were kind of like dazed for a second, and I had to remind myself, this is a demon. This is a demon. Stop falling for the tricks of the demon. Rosmal's scared shitless of this motherfucker. He's got to be bad fucking news. He's got to be bad news. He looks over at Jane. Jane is just locked, staring at him. She's got her hands at her sides. She's not holding the crucifix the proper way. She's not pointing the damn crossbow at him. I'm like, Jane. She looks at me and she says, he's calling me. He said that all is forgiven for what I did when I was younger. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Jane? What did you do when you were younger? I drowned my little brother. What? Yes, he was messing around with my light bright. I had made this beautiful rose for my mom, and he ruined it. That little fucker. Drowned him in a little pond that was behind our house. And I told my mom that he fell in and I couldn't save him. But I drowned him. I killed him. And for all my life, that's why I started this ghost hunting shit in the first place. So I've been trying to find him so I could tell him I was sorry. But all is forgiven. No, Jane, all is not forgiven. All is not forgiven. Trust me, your brother fucking hates you. Oh God, I'm sure he does. You killed him over some light bright shit. I don't think he forgives you. Yes, he does. This being has told me. This being is a demon. He's a collector of souls. He's going to take your soul and send it to Satan. And trust me, I've met the dude. You do not. You don't want to be. You don't want to be with Satan. You don't want to be with Satan. I'm sure he's got all types of really fucked up shit planned for you, Jane. Don't listen. Shoot that motherfucker with the crossbow. Shoot him with the crossbow. I can't. This is my only chance at redemption. My only chance of forgiveness. I must take it. I slapped the shit out of her. Slapped her again. I just started slapping the shit out of her. And I felt bad for doing this because, you know, you're not supposed to put your hands on women. But you can't let them have their souls snatched and collected for the Satan either. It was a conundrum. I was put in a bad spot. It was slap this bitch or let this bitch get snatched up for eternity by Satan. And I know Satan would do much worse than me just slapping her. Just trying to knock some sense into her. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I was doing. So don't get mad at me for slapping the bitch. So I slapped her again and again until she finally snapped out of it. She's like, oh God, what are you doing? Stop! Jeez! How many times are you gonna slap me? Until you get it through your head that this demon is trying to snatch your soul. I get it! God! Shit! Jesus! I don't give a fuck that I killed my fucking brother! I don't need his goddamn forgiveness! Shit! I hated the little motherfucker! I couldn't stand him! He fucked up my light bright shit! She shoots Zalami with the crossbow. It hits him. Ah! Screams real quick. And he disappears. Now, of course, we're thinking, that can't be it. There's more. There's always more. These demons don't just disappear and go away and that's it. All of a sudden, I start crying out of nowhere. Oh, thank you. I've felt so bad about this my entire life. Jane's like, what are you talking about? I have a confession. Reese? What are you talking about, Reese? I only asked you to come out here because I was gonna sacrifice you to Satan so that he'd stop chasing me around. You don't know what you're talking about, Reese. That's not, no, Salami's in your head. Salami's in your head. He's just trying to get you to say things so I'll kill you. Because, are you serious? Did you really bring me out here to fucking get me eaten, sacrifice me to Satan and shit? That now that I'm thinking about it, that is, I mean, you are running around with a demon in a jar. I mean, you might, that's kind of weird that you would bring a demon on a fucking ghost hunt out in the middle of the woods. What are your intentions? She starts pointing the crossbow at me, right at my face, and inside of myself, I can feel myself trying to fight the self of me that's making this fucking wild goddamn confession of bullshit. I wasn't gonna sacrifice Jane to Satan. I'm not giving Satan shit, and I didn't bring the demon so that we could fucking sacrifice her to Satan. I brought the demon because sometimes he's kind of entertaining and shit. He tells really cool stories about the past, and it kind of helps me understand how these areas of ghost hauntings have happened. It's not no intention, and I'm trying to fight myself from getting myself killed. I'm really trying hard, but all I can do is keep blubbering about nonsense and crying and shit and making these fake claims and confessions and things like that. And all of a sudden I say that I'm the one that sent Azazel after her and that I killed Azazel to silence the demon so that he wouldn't tell her the truth. You know, just these wild claims that made absolutely no sense. But, you know, her mind being what it was at the time, having, you know, seen some things that were kind of questionable. You know, I mean, yeah, if you saw a guy with a demon in a jar, you'd probably be questioning, what is he doing with a demon in a jar? Why doesn't he just kill it and get rid of it? What's so entertaining about a demon in a jar? You don't need to understand why it's fun having a demon in a jar, okay? You don't need to understand it. It's just fun, okay? Shit, it's not like I'm letting it do demon stuff. It's kind of like prison for him. So think of it in that way instead of thinking of it as me like, I'm just having fun with the goddamn demon in the jar, people. You don't have to fucking judge me. Don't judge me. Anyway, finally I snap out of this trance of confessing bullshit shit to her. But by that time, it's almost too late. It's almost too late, right? I see her finger pulling ever so slowly on the trigger of the crossbow. As I come to myself, like, Jane! Jane! And as I go to grab her, she fires the crossbow. Just misses my face. Cuts my cheek. Jane! I grab her. I snatch the crossbow away from her. Like, he's getting in our heads. He's getting in our heads. I didn't fucking bring you out here to sacrifice you to Satan. What kind of dumb shit is that? I was gonna sacrifice you to Satan. I would have done it any fucking place. And as for the damn demon in the jar, if you hung around him long enough, you'd understand why I keep him in the jar. And maybe it should probably be destroyed at some point in the near future. But for right now, I'm gonna keep him in the jar because he's kind of entertaining. And when I go on these goddamn ghost hunts and I don't have anybody with me and shit, he like fills me in on the stories and things. And kind of cool to have him around, like a little supernatural friend. And maybe one day I can change his way of thinking and get him to stop doing evil demon shit. At which point he'll probably cease to exist. But, you know, that's a chance I'm willing to take. But I'm not trying to sacrifice you. I'm not trying to sacrifice you, okay? Listen, we need to get the fuck out of here. We need to get the fuck out of here, Jane. What? Oh, shit. Yes, you're right. We gotta get out of here. Let's go. Right? So me and her, we start running back towards the fucking place where we came in at, parked the car. Because we've had enough. You know what I'm saying? This Salami dude, he gets in your fucking head. He gets in your head and he makes you feel and think certain things, and he can convince others to feel and think certain things. Usually in the guise of doing good, right? Like, it would be good to confess sins, but not fake sins. It's not good to confess fake sins, especially fake sins that'll get your ass killed. And if you get killed, he'll snatch your soul. And then when he snatches your soul, you're going to hell to chill with Satan and have Satan do Satan shit to your fucking soul for all eternity. And I wasn't trying to have that for me. And Jane's cool. I didn't want that to happen to her either. So you know what I'm saying? We had to come to this agreement to get the fuck out of there, and that's what we did. We ran back to the car real quick. Of course, I had my jar of demon with me, Rosmul. Rosmul was like really shaking in there. I'm like, why are you so like afraid of another demon? He's like, Salami's not just a demon. He's a greater demon. Greater demon? There's greater demons? Yes, greater demon. That's what I just said, wasn't it? Greater demon. I'm just a regular demon. You have greater demons, and lesser demons. Right, lesser demons. Lesser demons are just like, you know, those kind of creatures you see running around in the woods and shit, like the shadow creatures. They're just like bad luck. They actually don't have any true power over your surroundings like a demon does. And a greater demon can do even more than a demon. But what he can do that other demons like myself can't do is he can actually take souls. He can take souls. It's crazy. You don't, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. And we can't come back here. We can't come back here because this is his land. He roams this land. I can feel it. I can feel it now in my demon bones. We don't want to be here ever again. In fact, we gotta go. Let's go. Let's just go now. You know, we get in the car, we're listening to the demon. She said, I can see why you keep him around now. You know, that's kind of some interesting information. I thought all demons work together. No, we don't all work together. We don't all work together. We're selfish sons of bitches. Selfish sons of bitches. And he doesn't like me. He never has. He never has. He's the one that stopped me from getting promoted to greater demon because he said my tactics and my ways of doing things weren't, you know, to his best interest. You know, because sometimes these souls would just languish for eternity being around, right? They wouldn't seek forgiveness and shit until he comes around with his bullshit, tricks them. And sometimes it's hard for him to trick these souls. We just need to go. Come on, let's go. So yeah, we left. We got out of there as quickly as we could. Went home. I dropped off Jane. Sat down on the couch, watched a little television. Picked Rosmul up and put him on the table. Opened the jar, let him out for a little while. He sat down. He was his normal self again. He was back to normal. He's like, we'll see him again. We're gonna see him again. Trust me. He hates me. Oh, God. Guy fucking doesn't like me at all. It's like, but why? Why doesn't he like you? Why? I don't understand why. You're demons. Like, you all pretty much work for the same dude. And you all do... No, you have to understand. Salami used to actually be an angel. Sort of like Satan. See, me, I've never been an angel. I was never an angel, not once. I've been a demon since my inception and creation upon the plane of existence that you know as Earth. I've always been a demon. I've never been anything but. But Salami was an angel at one point in time. And when he was an angel, he was cast out. He was cast out because when Satan used to be Lucifer, he was cast out by God. Salami didn't understand why God turned his back on Satan. So he questioned God. He questioned. That's something you just don't do. You know that. You've heard the stories. And when he questioned God, God didn't just cast him out. No. He made him into an actual lesser demon. Salami had to work his way up to greater demon. And when he was a lesser demon, I was an actual demon. Because I've always been a demon. I've never been a lesser demon. I was always a demon. And I used to fuck with him a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd fucking pull pranks on him and shit. Put, like, demon shit in his lunchbox. His demon wife would give him stuff. Sometimes I'd go to his demon wife and pretend to be him. Like, have sex with his demon wife. He didn't like me at all. Oh, God, he's mad. And he vowed that when he was going to get his revenge one day upon me. And it's not like I have a soul or anything like that, because I don't. But what happens is he can change the mindset, the people around. He can make their energies poisonous to me. Oh, God. Gotta stay away from that guy. He's gonna be following us. He's gonna be looking. Oh God, he's never forgotten. He's never forgotten the things that I did to him. So he'll be back. So you just try to stay away from any place that I tell you to stay away from. You'll be able to tell because I can sense him when he's coming. Well, you didn't do such a good motherfucking job of sensing him this time now, did you? No, yeah, you're right. I mean, I had a feeling that something was coming. I just, kind of forgot about him. It's been a while. I'm sorry. What the fuck is the point of having you in a fucking jar, Rasamul, if you're not gonna do what you're supposed to do, which is demon shit in a jar? I ain't destroy you. I could pour a whole bottle of blessed oil in there and set you on holy fire. Trying to convert you to the right side of the light. Oh, you're wasting your time. That's never gonna happen. I told you, I've always been a demon. I'm gonna die a demon, if there's such thing as death for me. I mean, yeah, there is. But that's not the point. I don't want to do good stuff. I want to do demon stuff, and I want to keep it that way. Alright? So, we have an agreement here. Every now and then, I get to suck up some anguish, and I'll keep that Zalami dude from ever doing that shit to you again. We got a deal? I don't make deals with demons or devils. So here's what's gonna happen. You're going to fucking tell me when that fucker's around. And maybe every now and then, when we go on a ghost adventure, if it's one that you've done some fucked up shit to the people, I'll let you taunt them for a hot second, since they're already dead. But as far as fucking with live people, Rasamul, that'll never happen again. Can't let you do that. Yeah, I've seen the path of destruction that you cause. You're just the worst. Well, after Rasamul and I came to an agreement, we popped some popcorn, watched some fucking Hulu videos and shit, and we chilled out for a little while. I went to sleep, and I dreamt the worst dream I'd ever dreamed in my life. I dreamt that my soul was snatched from my body, sent to hell, tortured by Azazel and Satan together. And I woke up. Whew. Everything was the way it was supposed to be. Now, is there a moral to this story? Not really. Not really. I could say don't keep a demon in a jar, but I'm gonna keep my demon in the jar where it belongs. Okay, so don't judge me for having a demon in a jar. But I will say be careful of old ruins. Be careful of the voices that you hear whispering among the trees. Be careful of the creatures that may be in the trees. If you don't have a demon in a jar like me, that demon could be in the trees that you're visiting. You don't want that thing to jump on you and shit. Watch out for Zalami, because he'll make you say all types of shit that might make somebody else kill you, and then he'll snatch your soul and send you to fucking hell with Satan and shit. You don't want to do that. Thank you once again for joining me for another stupid, scary story. Good night.